Have you ever reached a point where you thought you should feel calmer by now, yet your mind still races at night? Have you ever wondered why peace can feel so close in old age, and yet so easy to lose in a single thought? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about inner peace in old age. Not as a fantasy where nothing hurts and nothing changes, but as a real steadiness you can train. Even while the body ages, relationships shift, and the future stays uncertain. Buddhist wisdom has always said something that sounds simple but changes everything once you finally feel it for yourself. Life will keep changing. Your mind does not have to keep suffering in the same way. Inner peace is not the absence of problems. Inner peace is the ability to meet problems without being swallowed by them. It is a certain softness in the chest, a certain steadiness in the breath, a certain quiet confidence that says, I can face this moment, not because I control everything, but because I am learning how to be awake inside whatever happens. I want to begin with a scene that many people will recognize. An older person sits in a quiet home. The day is calm on the outside, yet inside, the mind is loud. A small ache in the body becomes a fear about the future. A missed phone call becomes a story about abandonment. A memory from decades ago reappears like it happened yesterday. The person says, I just want peace, but I do not know how to stop my mind. If that is you, you are not alone. And the good news is that Buddhist practice is built exactly for this. Not to make you numb, not to make you pretend, to make you free. Let me tell you a story that will carry us through the whole conversation. Imagine someone named Margaret. She is 76. She has lived a full life, but the last few years have been heavy. Some friends have passed away. Her children are busy with their own lives. Her body has new limitations. She sleeps but wakes early. She tries to stay positive, but the mind keeps pulling her into worry and regret. On some days she feels okay. On other days she feels like her mind is a restless room she cannot leave. One afternoon she visits a small community center because a neighbor invites her. There is a quiet talk led by an older teacher who has practiced Buddhism for many years. Margaret expects big philosophy. Instead, the teacher says something simple. Peace is practiced, not found. Margaret feels irritated at first because she wants peace to arrive like a gift. But the teacher continues. Your mind has practiced worry for decades. Your mind has practiced comparing for decades. Your mind has practiced clinging for decades. If you want peace, you must practice peace the way you practiced worry. Gently, daily, repeatedly. Margaret goes home and sits in her chair. She does not know where to begin. So she begins with one breath. That breath becomes the doorway into 6 Buddhist practices that slowly change her life. These practices are not tricks. They are trainings. And they work because they transform the causes of suffering, not just the symptom. The first practice is returning to the breath as an anchor, especially when the mind tries to run. In Buddhism, the breath is the simplest home you can return to. The mind travels to the past and future. The breath is always now. When you return to the breath, you return to the only place where peace can actually exist. Margaret begins doing something very small. Before she stands up in the morning, she takes 3 slow breaths. She feels the inhale enter. She feels the exhale leave. She notices the shoulders, the jaw, the belly. She softens what she can. She does not demand silence. She simply returns. At night, when she wakes and thoughts begin to spin, she does not argue with them. She says quietly, thinking is happening. Then she returns to the breath again. She counts 3 breaths, sometimes 10. Sometimes she falls asleep. Sometimes she does not. But she notices something important. Even when she does not sleep, she suffers less, because she is no longer wrestling the mind in the dark. This is how peace begins. Not with perfect sleep, but with less fighting. The second practice is observing thoughts without obeying them. Many people believe they are their thoughts. If the thought says disaster is coming, They feel disaster is coming. If the thought says I am behind, they feel they are behind. If the thought says nobody cares, they feel abandoned. But Buddhism teaches mindfulness, the ability to witness the mind without being dragged by it. Margaret learns to watch thoughts like weather. I thought arrives. I am going to get sick and no one will help. Instead of treating it as truth, she labels it fear thought. Another thought arrives. I wasted my best years. She labels it regret thought. Another thought arrives. My children do not love me. She labels it story thought. At first she is shocked by how many thoughts appear. Then she realizes the thoughts were always there. She just used to believe them automatically. Now she is learning to see them as mental events, not commands. This changes everything because it creates space. And inside space, choice becomes possible. She can choose to breathe instead of spiral. She can choose to rest instead of rehearse disasters. She can choose to speak kindly to herself instead of attacking herself. The third practice is loving kindness, especially toward your own aging heart. Old age can awaken harsh self-judgment. People feel ashamed about the body changing. They feel guilty about needing rest. They feel weak for feeling lonely. They feel angry at themselves for not living differently. That harshness creates stress, and stress steals peace. Buddhist loving kindness is a practice of retraining the heart. It is not forced positivity. It is deliberate gentleness. You repeat intentions of goodwill until the mind becomes familiar with kindness. Margaret begins with a simple phrase she whispers quietly. May I be at ease. May I be safe. May I be free from unnecessary suffering. She does not always feel the words. She repeats them anyway because practice is not about mood. It is about training. When fear arises, she places a hand on her chest and repeats the phrase. When she feels lonely, she repeats it. When she feels ashamed, she repeats it. Over time, her inner voice softens. She stops speaking to herself like an enemy. She begins treating herself like a person worthy of care. And as her inner voice softens, she becomes gentler with others too. Her conversations become warmer. Her face relaxes. People respond differently to her because the atmosphere of her presence changes. This is inner peace becoming visible. The fourth practice is acceptance of impermanence. So you stop arguing with reality. Many older people suffer because they resist change. They resist the body changing. They resist friends passing away. They resist energy declining. They resist the world shifting. The mind says it should not be like this. But the truth is that everything conditioned changes. Buddhism calls this impermanence, not as a depressing thought, but as a freeing truth. Margaret begins practicing a quiet sentence when she feels resistance. This changes. She says it when she feels pain. This changes. She says it when she feels joy. This changes. She says it when she feels fear. This changes. At first the sentence feels cold. Then she notices something. It reduces panic, because panic often comes from the belief that a feeling will last forever or that a condition is a permanent verdict. Impermanence reminds her that emotions move. Conditions shift. Even grief changes shape. Even fear rises and falls. This does not erase loss. It removes the extra suffering of denial. The fifth practice is simplifying what you feed your mind. Inner peace is not only meditation. It is also what you allow into your nervous system. Many people feed their minds constant agitation, endless news, arguments, comparisons, loud entertainment, and then wonder why the mind cannot rest. Old age often makes the nervous system more sensitive to this, so protecting your attention becomes even more important. Margaret notices that her evening habit is quietly stealing her peace. She watches intense content and then carries it into bed. Her mind rehearses it. Her chest tightens. She sleeps poorly. So she changes one thing. She creates a quiet hour before sleep. She dims the lights. She stops heavy content. She listens to softer sounds or sits in silence. She breathes slowly with longer exhales. She also reduces the amount of comparison she consumes. She stops scrolling images that make her feel behind. She stops reading comments that make her angry. She chooses fewer inputs and more presence. Within weeks, her mind feels less crowded. Peace becomes easier not because she forced it, but because she removed what was constantly disturbing it. The sixth practice is turning ordinary life into practice. So peace is not something you chase, but something you live. This is the heart of Buddhism. Practice is not only something you do on a cushion. Practice is how you wash a dish, how you walk, how you speak, how you pause before reacting, how you meet pain, how you meet people, how you meet yourself. Margaret begins turning small moments into training. When she washes dishes, she feels the water and the movement instead of rushing. When she walks, she feels each step and notices the air. When she feels irritated, she pauses and takes one breath before speaking. When she receives a difficult message, she waits before reacting. When she feels loneliness, she sends goodwill to someone else, silently wishing them ease. These moments are small, but they are powerful, because the mind becomes what it repeats. If you repeat reactivity, reactivity becomes home. If you repeat presence, presence becomes home. If you repeat kindness, kindness becomes home. Over months, Margaret notices a shift that surprises her. Her life still has difficulties, but her baseline is calmer. She still feels grief sometimes, but she recovers faster. She still worries sometimes, but she does not drown in it. She feels more patient. She feels more connected. She feels more like she is living inside her own life instead of watching it from behind a wall of thoughts. One day she meets the teacher again and says, "I thought peace would mean nothing hurts. But now I see peace means I am not fighting everything anymore." The teacher smiles and says, "Yes, peace is not the absence of waves. Peace is learning how to float." That is the message I want to leave with you today. Inner peace in old age is possible. Not because you control life, but because you can train the mind that meets life. Breath by breath, return by return, gentle effort by gentle effort. If you are watching this and you feel like your mind is too busy, start smaller than you think you need to. One breath, one pause, one kinder sentence to yourself, one quiet hour at night, one walk where you actually feel your steps, one moment of letting a thought pass without following it. Your mind has practiced suffering for a long time. It can practice peace too. Now I want to ask you a question. When do you feel least at peace? In the morning, in the afternoon, or at night? And what would be one small practice you could try in that exact moment to come back to calm? Share your thoughts in the comments if you want to. Share what has helped you. Your story might be the light someone else needs. If this video helped you, please support the channel by subscribing, liking, and commenting. It helps more people find this quiet wisdom when they need it most. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take one slow breath right now. Feel the body supported. Let the shoulders soften. Let the jaw relax. And remember, peace is not something you wait for. Peace is something you practice into existence. One ordinary moment at a time. Until next time, be gentle, be steady, and keep returning to what matters.